Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And yes, we have the one and only April Crosley. How you doing, April?
Great. Thanks for having me, Michael.
There's a question I've wanted to ask you for 6 months because I watch you, I stalk you online, I see all these amazing things you're doing. But I wanted to ask you, April, not April Crosley, not Lazy Girl Investing, not the syndicator, not the flipper, just April, right? What excites you? What keeps you going?
Yeah. So right now, what excites me is projects that I think have a big impact on communities. So while some people are excited by like 100-unit apartment buildings or flipping 100 houses a year, right now I'm trying to buy these 4 houses in Tennessee
Okay.
that are like large 4-bedroom, 4-bath, handicap accessible houses.
Okay.
And we're trying to figure out how to make them affordable housing for seniors in the area. So we're actually working with senior companies in the community that work with homeless seniors. So like in this one county, there's like 30 homeless seniors on the streets.
Wow.
And so they go into a homeless shelter, and then the homeless shelter will get them like up and running with food stamps and everything that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And then they need like an affordable transitional place to go. So like my healthcare background gives me a lot of insight into the senior space and a lot of connections. And
Okay.
the senior space, there's a lot of very expensive places you can go, like swanky senior apartment living or senior housing that's extremely expensive, but there's nothing really affordable. So what's happening is these people are stuck in a homeless shelter, and then the homeless shelter can't bring in more people. So it's like a backlog.
Right.
So what excites me is it's one of the most difficult projects I've ever put together.
Okay.
Because we're trying to figure out, it's extremely hard to make affordable housing work without grants or tax credits or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm learning and reading books, and we're trying to put all the pieces together to make it work. But that is what fuels me and drives me. Like when I'm on the phone with someone from the senior services program, and they're like, do you know if you open up these 4 houses for seniors to move into and it's affordable, we're going to be able to take 30 homeless senior citizens off the street. Like literally the day the lady said that to me, it still gives me chills. And
Yeah.
I was just
I have chills.
Yeah, I was just like in tears. So I'm like, how do we do this all across the United States? And I'm not going to lie, Michael, it's like one of the most difficult things I've done. So it's not like going out and buying a building and renting it and there it is. Like there's so many parts and pieces you have to figure out. It's been very frustrating, and a lot of days where I'm like, I just have to give up. It's not going to work. But I just feel like called that this is what I'm supposed to do, like all my heart. Nothing has ever excited me more, to the point that I'm like, how do I like live in Tennessee? I need to move to Tennessee because I'm constantly back and forth between Pennsylvania and Tennessee. And I love it. It literally like is what gets me out of bed in the morning, for sure. Yeah.
Wow. So, is there anything my audience can do to help with this? Or is there somebody, I have fans in Tennessee. I mean, if somebody watching this knew someone, or what could help you right now with what's going on?
Yeah, we're just
Probably
trying
not
to, we're trying to connect with nonprofits in the area, like any nonprofits that we can find. And my business partner also has a nonprofit, but there's any nonprofits that need housing like that. Obviously, any connections to any senior services in the area, and anyone with experience with affordable housing. I mean, I'm in deep, we're down the rabbit hole. Like we're looking at building it now and converting these 4 houses, and then building houses that are like these houses, but with their own separate entrances to each room.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my world has kind of been like flipped upside down. So instead of like chasing after these 20-unit apartment buildings, I'd rather buy 4 houses that have purpose and are fulfilling a need and changing someone's life, instead of just being like, oh, the cash flow is awesome and I have another building. Again, it comes back to the boredom thing. I'm like, that bores me. I'm bored of that. Let's do something else.
April Crosley making impact. So, I mean, how did you, because this, again, I don't think this was on the radar a year or 18 months ago.
So I started talking about it out loud at like one of my mastermind meetings. They at Michael Manthey's Elevate meeting, he had this session where he was like, I want you to just write down, like, if you could do anything, like you had all the money in the world, what would you do? And he asked us other questions, and we had to sit there in silence. The whole room's in silence for like a half hour, just writing. He's like, and if you can't think of anything, just write. And I don't really do that. I don't sit still. So I don't do stuff like that. So I just sat there and started writing. I was like, man, if I had all the money in the world to do whatever I wanted, I would build housing communities for seniors. You know, I took care of my grandma, and like, I love seniors. They're like totally my jam. I get along with them better than anyone else. So I was like, I really would build like an affordable housing community for seniors. And I was like, how would I do that? Would it be tiny homes? Would it be this? Would it be that? So I've looked at a bunch of different things that people are like, oh, tiny homes would be awesome. So would container homes. I'm like, they're not affordable. Like they're not affordable to build or do. Like people think they are because they're small, but they're not. How do you do it in an affordable manner? And now it's like all the pieces are coming together because I'm connected with people that are like, oh, well, have you ever heard about this grant? Have you ever heard about this low-income housing tax credit? Have you ever heard about this? And now I'm reading books about things I was never exposed to before in real estate. Did I answer your question? I kind of went off on a tangent.
No, I'm loving all of this. I'm getting excited for you, right? So I can feel the passion.
Yeah. So I think just talking out loud about it, I just started talking out loud about it. And then someone was like, someone asked me what my word was for 2022 and encouraged me to have a word. And immediately I was like, impact. Like it just like I'm buying buildings is great. Don't get me wrong. And you can do a lot with a lot of money and help a lot of people.
Sure.
But I want to be like more involved, like really dig in and get my hands dirty and like build something and really, really have a massive impact and not just write a check, you know? Yeah.
And again, talking about your grandma, I remember those posts.
Yeah.
Right? They are your jam. And I remember you showing little short clips of you and her dancing, and she's a big part of your life. And she is a big reason you are who you are today, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And when she was not well and kind of like had a lot of trouble with her vision, I'm like, if she couldn't stay in her home, how expensive is the care she would have to go to? It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, and there's so many developers out there building 55 and older or 65 and older luxury senior housing. I'm like, what most seniors that I talk to, Michael, are like, this is how much Social Security I get. That just pays my rent. And then I'm scraping by to try and pay for my food. And now in the market we're in with the cost of inflation, it's not like people are getting more in Social Security.
Yeah. Fixed income's rough.
It's so rough. It's so rough. And seniors, when I talk to seniors, they're like, if someone would have told me, so that's why it's so important, like what you do and what I do, and everybody's like educating about real estate and growing your own wealth. I'm like, do not bank on Social Security. Do not bank. First of all, I've been told since the time I started investing, it's not going to be there.
Yeah, so me too.
Don't even worry about it. Yeah.
I got a big zero next to my number. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, you can't bank on that. It's not enough to get by when the price of food goes up and the price of gas goes up. These seniors can't afford anything. And now some of them, especially in the Northeast, are losing their home to taxes. They own their house free and clear, but the taxes are so high, they can't afford the taxes and they're homeless. It's insane. It infuriates me. Yeah. So that's my mission. That's what.
It's going to be fun to watch you do this. Again, do you really see that you may end up moving to Tennessee? Is that like,
yeah, I've been looking, I'll probably live half and half because my son's in Pennsylvania. So like half, but man, I go to Tennessee so much and I'm like, I'm renting Airbnbs and hotels and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I got to just like buy something.
What part of Tennessee? What city?
Eastern Tennessee, like outside Knoxville.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah,
man, this has been, so I look forward to watching you be successful because there's no question in my mind, you will make this happen.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing to watch. Where can people find you?
YouTube, April Crosley, and they can follow me on Instagram, April Crosley, or check out our group on Facebook, RVREI.
Awesome. Thanks, April.
Thanks, Michael.
Mm-hmm.